was Ho Chi Minh for the win. Well, The Amazing Race, the show, not the Albanians, had contestants travel to Hanoi, Vietnam. It was a pit stop for commie agitprop. Teams in the show were made to memorize a communist song done by kids in front of a large portrait of the North Vietnamese murderous dictator Ho Chi Minh.
This roadblock requires teams to watch the performance of a patriotic Vietnamese song. At the end, dancers will reveal the words of a celebrated quote.
It's
like One Direction.
So during that song, one of the contestants actually said, it's like One Direction. Yes, if that direction was the inevitable massacre of millions of Vietnamese, competitors then had to match the lyrics to propaganda posters. Then they were forced to visit a B-52 memorial, which was wreckage of a shot-down American bomber.
Teams must now make their way to the B-52 Memorial, site of the wreckage of a B-52 bomber shot down during the Vietnam War, and where they'll find their next clue.
Here?
Wait. Oh, there's a U-turn board.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a double.
This is a double U-turn.
All in all, a great tribute to our troops. Nicely done, CBS. Now, you can't blame the players, they're pawns, but how did it not cross the producers' minds that this might offend the men who fought in Vietnam and the families of those who died there? What's next, Amazing Race? A jaunt through the killing fields? Note to the producer, the Khmer Rouge is not a cosmetic. But you know, it wasn't done on purpose. Most stupidity isn't. Maybe the producers are really, really young and think Vietnam is just a place where spring rolls come from. Fact is, Vietnam is a beautiful country with great people waking up from a gruesome past. And they probably find the remnants of communism every bit as repugnant. Maybe CBS should too. Eric, do you think they knew what they were doing?
I think you nailed it in your monologue. It's like you just summed it up, tied it up nicely. I think you're probably right. I think what my experience with producers is when they're young, they look for what's the best shot. They look through a camera lens and go like this and go, wow, there's a wrecked B-52 wreckage right there. Let's use that as part of the story without thinking, what does that symbolize? It symbolizes thousands, tens of thousands of American troops who died fighting for their freedom so that they could have a TV show there. CBS failed.
Bob, you're shaking your head.
I'm so outraged by this, I can't believe it. CBS is idiotic. They're stupid. The idea that they would put something like that on TV, don't blame it on young producers. It had to go through somebody in the executive branch of CBS, and CBS can't do any better than that. To have people go to a memorial where Americans died, then you ought to get off the network. Take that show and shove it.
Geez, I didn't expect that.
How do I follow that? I mean, anything I say is going to look like I'm not outraged at all.
Well, how about this? Should they address this on the next show?
I don't know if they should address.
Is what they ought to do while they cancel the show.
I think Bob's right. I think the executives should address this, at least at minimum with a statement, maybe on the next show. It is a highly rated show. They could do themselves a good service by admitting this. I do think they're not mutually exclusive, though. I think you hit the nail on the head. Producers, not the ones in the control room or any producers in this building, by the way. That's the disclaimer.
Absolutely.
I think they can be young at times, and younger generations haven't studied it. Our schools aren't teaching it. They don't get it. And they're not asking maybe their grandparents who are around to go through it. And then you have the executives who know the difference from right and wrong.
Well, the idiot who was over there directing it probably knew about it. He wasn't 18.
No, but to your point, Bob, the executives probably don't see anything wrong with it. So the dumb producer says, I have an idea, and they go, you know what, this isn't so bad because we believe what Jane Fonda believes.
You know what, they should stop talking about Jane Fonda. That's as un-American a piece you could put on TV as I've ever seen.
I had a question, too, about the stupidity of a double U-turn. Because isn't that a circle?
Yes.
If you a U-turn and a U-turn, that's a circle. So I don't get it.
An oval.
I probably wouldn't do very well in the Amazing Race.
Yes, you wouldn't. But it would be. We should do the Amazing Race. We'd be called the little people. I don't know.
Wonder Twin Powers.
But you know what? But what did you think? Are you as angry as Bob? I didn't. Bob is like he's exploding over there.
Look, I don't do outrage that well. He does it very well. Inside, I was sick. By it.
And
I can imagine too that the Vietnamese who look, they're trying to do some reforms, but look, there's still a lot, like the press freedoms or the lack of press freedoms there, the lack of ability to free speech is really, really bad. In addition, you have a major problem of Well, they're very competent. I'm sure that the Tourism Bureau probably raised their hand and said, any reality show in America want to come here because, you know, The Bachelor went to Thailand. We'd love to have someone come to Vietnam. And so they were selling it.
Yeah.
They wanted to be able to, and imagine what the press is like in Vietnam today, state-controlled press, about how wonderful it is that that Americans finally know the truth.
And you know
from their
something,
perspective.
those people wanted Americans to go and look at that
That's right.
B-52, wanted them to hear those patriotic songs, which are anti-American songs. It was a communist show put on by a network that ought to know better.
All right.